type that Arizona or Georgia does, for instance.
Right, which is worth noting, because if you're really trying to make the election system there have more integrity and more secure, you would want those paper ballots. I just want to ask you, because you have worked at DOJ, Texas state Democrats have urged the Attorney General to look into all of this, Merrick Garland to step in. What potential actions could the DOJ take here?
Well, there are a variety of federal laws that might apply, laws with regard to voter intimidation, laws with regard to retention of federal documents, and then most notably, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which prevents discrimination, either intentional discrimination or activity that could result in discrimination against minority voters. And that might be something that the DOJ would take a look at. I mean, this bill still hasn't been passed and signed. It might still be working out the final version. So we'll have to wait and see what the final version is, and if it passes and if it's signed by the governor. But if it is, I expect the Department of Justice will take a close look at it and see if it has, for instance, a disparate impact on minority voters in the state.
I'm going to turn to Arizona, where the so-called audit led by Republicans, run by a private contractor, it's been a mess. I mean, you can say that. Now, a follow-up recount is reportedly in the works, and it would use untested digital technology. What is your thinking on this fishing expedition and just the overall pattern we're seeing across the country?
Yeah, this is incredibly disturbing. They are making it up as they go along. The inexperienced and biased cyber ninjas from out of state have come in. They're fundraising from secret funding sources to fund this thing. They're changing standards as they go. And just this week, as you pointed out, they just moved the ballots once again from next to the Crazy Times Carnival. I wish we were making this stuff up, but we're not. And they started again, changing standards along the way. They lost the one subcontractor that even had any experience at all looking at elections. And so we shouldn't be surprised that we're seeing this complete mess of a so-called audit taking place. And while the Arizona Senate is saying this isn't intended to change the outcome, this is really just to get at the truth of what happened now 7 months after the election, an election that was already audited multiple times under rules and laws set by the Republican Arizona Senate well before the election, and even going beyond that. What we're seeing is people associated with the losing candidate in this election, grifters and con artists, are rallying around the Arizona audit, trying to get people to donate more money. We just saw Rudy Giuliani do that this weekend.
Let me just ask you very quickly, because we have to go soon, but David, big picture, why should everyone care about this? You know, why is this so important to be paying attention to?
Yeah, I'm incredibly concerned. We're seeing this sickness spread to places like Georgia and Wisconsin, and we're seeing the delegitimization of democratic self-governance. The people who authorized this audit in Arizona were actually elected on the same ballots in Arizona. They're actually delegitimizing their own election. We're getting to the point where the winners of the election will never be able to govern and work for the people who elected them. And now we just saw this weekend in Alaska, where the winning candidate, who won by a narrow margin in the Anchorage mayor's race, had been engaged in a systemic harassment of election officials during that time. We're seeing an erosion of democratic self-governance and the legitimacy that goes around that, and it concerns me a great deal, and we should be very vigilant about all of this.
All right, David Becker, that sums it up. Thank you so much.
Thanks, panel.
And be sure to join us